All right, fellas, unwrecked, back. Honestly, I haven't worked in the garage in multiple weeks. So I'm getting in the slump where I'm like relaxing and I need to get out here and get this thing done. So there's some pieces in the back of this that I need to start working on so we get those ready for paint. One being the front bumper. And I was debating on flush mounting all the bolts for the bumper and stuff. Now I've kind of decided against that now. I think we're just gonna go ahead and just paint them the way they are. I need to do less nitpicking and more doing just to get this thing finished, because I know this is what's holding me back. Once this is done, I'll have more trips to the auction, do some more auction videos, buying a lot more budget-friendly projects that I can finish or do fast. And lots of people have been asking me, hey, do you got anything for sale? And I never do. I haven't for like the last over a year, and I've been doing stuff for myself. So I kind of want to get back into like budget builds, but maybe a little bit better than this, like newer, on a better budget. Those wheels aren't staying. I just wanted to see if they fit, and they fit, and I was like, wow, they don't fit the car. They just don't look right. Plus, I want those for my winter wheels if I still have the BRZ. So yeah, we're gonna take those off. But I think the chain of events, what we're gonna do right now is get everything on the front ready for paint. So I got a little bit of body work on this fender. The other fender doesn't particularly fit the way I like it, but we're gonna roll with it. So I had to like kind of work that body line there, and it doesn't look right, but it's the way it's gonna be. So, and then I gotta redo that section of the cab over there where the paint chipped, and then I chipped it off the rest of the way. So I gotta body work some of this. We're gonna do a blend here somewhere in here. So we'll fade to clear, and then we'll just have to polish it out. But this is a very small area as opposed to doing it anywhere else. So, and I actually could just try to keep it down here lower, so I don't have to do a lot up here. That'll actually help with the paint blending too. Get the door ready. Stupid, should not have put the glass in there with the new seal and stuff, but we're gonna paint it like that. So I'm gonna try to mask that off the best I can so that we don't get any paint on that new seal. But I need to get the whole, I want to get the whole front done, so then all I have left is the back, and that's a lot of work, but I don't want to do that first. I thought about doing that first, but I'm like, nope, we'll get into that last. So once the front's done, this is going to look like a totally new truck till you get back there. So you'll start getting to see the picture of what this is going to look like finished. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm gonna dig in the back. We're gonna get the bumper out and that window valance that goes across like where the wipers are and stuff like that. I'm gonna get that out, and we're gonna start sanding on that. Then we gotta start sanding. Oh, and I don't have to blend here because I did this tape here. So we're just gonna do that same thing. And then, but all right, we need to get to work. So let me get that stuff out. So I never really scoped out the bumper all too well when I took it off, but I got it out and then I seen it had some damage on it. Wasn't horrible, but it had some damage on it. And for a second, I debated just looking up a new front bumper. And I was like, no, this isn't that bad. Let me just take a hammer to it. So right where the horns were, as you can see, that's where it's chrome because they weren't off before. But it kind of bowed out where the horns were. And that wouldn't have looked good after we painted it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of body work to this in those areas. Might be able to grind some of it down just so it's level. And then it had a crinkle right here as well. Like it was kind of had a hump to it. I flattened it out as best as possible. That's also on the very bottom side of the bumper. So I don't think that's going to be too noticeable. But I'm just going to get my grinding wheel out and we're going to scuff this really well because it's going to get thick primer. So I'm going to get some really low grit sandpaper and just go completely nuts on this bumper because it's a chrome bumper. And I need to get some self-etching primer on it. Another thing is, these bolts are the ones that go into the front of the frame rails. And I got brand new hardware for those. But I need to get those out because if I don't paint them, and we're going to end up painting these ones for the brackets, it's just not going to look right having 4 chrome bolts right in the front. So I need to get those out as well and paint the heads of those. These aren't coming out. We're going to paint these on here, but for these ones, we're going to go ahead and you know, paint that part of the bumper, plus we're going to paint the heads of the bolts. And since they're the acorn style that fit in there and you don't have to hold the heads of them, they aren't going to get damaged whenever I put those bolts in, tighten them up, because the hardware on the back's what gets tightened up and it won't harm this. So that's the smart thing to do. I don't know if this bumper's going to be 100% dent free, but I'm going to try my best to get it worked out. I'm just kind of like, I was feeling around the edges. It's really not too bad. It's a little rough across here, but I think it'll clean up nice with a low grit sandpaper. So I think I'm going to put this thing up on a stand so I'm not working on the ground. I don't know how hot this still is. It's still a little warm, but it ain't too bad. There's a raised spot right there, and I think it's still raised. I might be able to grind that out. And that's still, I mean, we're going to get the best we can, but I can still feel a raised area here. We might just have to putty across here and kind of body work it to make it, you know, smooth out. But yeah, hammering on a chrome bumper that's this thick, it's hard. It's really hard to get it to shape. At some point in this whole process, I lost my microphone. That's not good. So I'm going to take a little break to try to find that because they're not cheap. I have more, but I don't really want to lose one. That means I lost my magnet too. Oh, man. Crisis averted. So I guess when I took the fuel injection box out of the bed, my microphone dropped down in it. And I was over there looking. I'm like, it had to be over here somewhere. I seen the microphone, and I was like, okay, the microphone fell off over here. The magnet had to have been, and I just so happened to look over there by those coolant jugs on the wall, and the magnet was sitting there too. So, crisis averted. I have 2 of these. This is the other one, because I grabbed this one after I lost that one. And yeah, the problems of being a YouTuber. Anyways, let's get the sandpaper out and start sanding. Now, although I would love to be done sanding, we're not done yet, okay? And I want to do some body work. So what I was doing was, I was trying to find something flat so I could level the area so I could see where the highs and low spots are, because I can feel them by hand, but sometimes it's so minuscule that it's like you just can't tell. So here we are. As you can see, I was laying a satin Rust-Oleum primer on there, which sands pretty nice actually. So I'd lay some of that on there, then I would use a paint stick because it's straight and it's solid. So put a little bit of sandpaper on a paint stick and then just go over the area. Now, I had some really high spots, and that's why I was hammering and using the flap or the grinder there and just grinding down some material. But now I got it down to a place where I think we're kind of level with the rest of the metal, and then we just have a couple low spots around here where the dark paint is. Now, my scratches should be sufficient in there that I can just put putty right over top of that. Then we also had 2 low spots here, very minor, but over here, same deal. We have like the same low spots, like right around the bolt area here. There's a low spot on both sides. So I'm gonna get some putty out, and we're gonna cover basically this whole section down through here, and basically this whole section down through here. And then we're gonna have a lot of sanding to do. I still have a little bit of sanding to do, you know, around the bolts and stuff, just to get this cleaned up. So when we do paint it, it does look like a really nice bumper. Given it's actually is a decent bumper. It wasn't near as bad as I thought it was, but yeah, we're gonna have to still do some work so that it looks good. I don't want there to be any visible dents on this thing, like especially in the front, because that's like the moneymaker shot there with the ooh, yeah. So I'm gonna wipe this thing down. I'm gonna get some putty out and do a little bit of putty work. Oh, I also had a couple areas. Right here's like a small dent, and when I sanded it, you can still see it. And right there's a little scratch, and then right here is a scratch, and right there kind of just a little bit. So I'm just gonna go around I'm gonna clean this up first. Ooh, that's rough. I need to sand that some more. It's just got a rough finish to it. And then I had some areas where there was a little bit of pitting across the top. I guess it would have been rust that was happening underneath the paint, but I think it cleaned up pretty well. Yeah, we cleaned it up pretty well. You can see some slight pitting, maybe that is, right there. I don't think we need to worry about that. I think the primer, once we get the primer on, I think that'll fill most of that. It might even fill most of the scratches on the other side. Oh, I got a rough area over here too. It's almost like I sanded through the chrome, and it's just like a little bit of chrome left there. The only 2 places I felt it was on the sides. So I gotta do a little bit of extra sanding, or honestly the primer will probably take care of those areas. We're already deep in this. Let's get this one ready, then we'll get these ready after that. But this stuff doesn't need any body work. It just needs cleaned up, sanded, and then primered. Unless I go through to bare metal, then we'll have to do self-etching primer. But it's all looking pretty good. foreshadowing for you and why I'm dreading, look at my face, why I'm dreading doing the bodywork on this thing, because just to get this where I'm happy with it, I recorded myself putting putty on once and sanding it once. I came out here in the garage at 1:30 in the evening. Probably started sanding about 2. It's 7:30 at night right now. And I just now got it to where I'm happy with it. That's just the bumper and just a couple little spots. So that's why, yeah, not really thrilled to get into that, but it needs to happen. Anyways, I'm gonna come back out tomorrow. We're gonna get those pieces sanded up. All right, day 2. There's a couple spots here I wasn't very happy with. Is this one of them? No, that's all fine. That's all fine. Actually, there was only one spot, and I think it was this spot right here. Unless I could, no, can't feel that. Okay, it's just this spot right here. I can feel that, and I don't even think that needs filler right there. So I'm just gonna sand that out. Then I got to hand sand these corners and edges that I missed. Then I got to hand sand these bolts and get around them as best as possible. And yeah, we're gonna have fun here, but it needs to be done because I want to get this thing in primer today. But after I get done with this, then I need to get over to these and get these sanded as well. I guess what I want to say is we're in it now. Looks like I just put more on. That's a little better. That's a little better. Anyways, this piece goes right above the bumper, and I think it gets, yes, it goes right above the bumper like this, and it gets a trim piece across here, which I painted black. It's normally chrome. Behind that trim piece, it was getting rust and pitting like all over and then across the top too. So I mean, I ground that down as far as I could with my orbital sander and tried to get it down as far as I could. I do have rust converter, and I think I'm going to do a thin coat of that across there and the edges where it has a little bit of rust. I still have lots of areas I have to hand sand inside of these wiper holes, around the edges and stuff like that. So we're going to be done recording until I get that done, because each one of these slats has to get sanded right here Do you want me to video that? Do you want to watch me do every single one of them? No. No, you don't. I'm going to tell you right, you don't. So let me finish up what I got going on here, and then get everything wiped down. We'll get the rust converter out. Then we're going to get self-etching primer out, and then we're going to do primer. I'm doing spray cans for all of this, okay? So I'm not filling the gun with anything. Yes, that'd be the most effective way to do it, but then I got to close the garage. I got to get cars out of here, set up the garage for all that. With the spray cans, it doesn't create that much overspray, so we're just going to go with those for now, just to do this. And it's going to be fine.
Everything's fine.
So I'll see you turds in a little bit. I do have to say, I am fairly impressed with this little Dremel tool, this Fanti. Now, like I said, I'm not sponsored, but I bought this because it was like a little Dremel tool. Now they make a new one, it's tinier. This one, I bought this one because I thought maybe it had a bigger battery, it would last longer. I think the smaller one has this same size battery, but it's about this size the whole way, and I think it's metal. This one's got like a plastic handle. Yeah, I used that to grind in between every one of these slats, and it lasted the whole time. I went and I did all of them. Now, it's probably not going to be the smoothest finished, but they're roughed up regardless. Now, we're putting primer on, so that's going to help smooth that finish out, but that was a lot easier than trying to get sandpaper in there and sand all that. Squirrel! Actually, two of them. They're chasing each other. Anyways, now I just need to wipe these down, and then we're going to start throwing some coatings on it. As you can see, I moved the wife's car back a little bit. Yeah, I know it doesn't cause as much overspray, but still, I'm also probably going to wear a mask. I mean, I probably should have wore a mask already. If you didn't notice, my nostrils are black or blue or whatever. I think this is the original color. Now, part of me was like, you know what? I should have, just to pay homage to the C10, painted it the original color, blue. There ain't hardly anything left on this thing that's original, so. But whatever, it is what it is. Rust coating, we're gonna get that on. I got that new stuff from Harbor Freight, and I only have, what I think, 2 cans. 2 can Sam. There's one. I do have some of the original stuff. Oh, I have more than 2 cans. 2. I have 3 cans. 3 can Sam. I do need to see if this is something that I can purchase online and have it delivered to my house. I also need to see how many cans of regular primer I have. I know I have some. I have about 5 cans of the TranStar primer. I bought a case of it a long time ago, and I'm still going through that, but this is the last 3, but then I have a couple over here that I've used, so I still have a couple other cans if they run low, which I don't know that we'll be using that for the rest of the truck. I did get this U-Pole spray-on primer that's supposed to be thick, so it will help with bodywork in it, and I know the bedsides, that's definitely going to be the way to go. For the fender, this fender needs a little bit of body work. I did crinkle it up right here, trying to get these lines right. They're still not, they're okay, but not the best. So, oh, and I messed up the edge of that door too. But that needs sanded a good bit. It's just so much to do. I'm not looking forward to it. Speaking of which, next weekend we go to see him again. Yeah, we're going to, it's actually Rock the Country. It's a country festival, but we didn't get tickets to see the country stuff. I've been drinking. I'm a little slow to talk. Yeah. Anyways, 3 heavy coats of primer on top of self-etching primer. This bumper looks fantastic. My Bodywork still not getting any better. But yeah, I mean, the rags I used must have caught some of the scratches that I did on the bumper. So there's like, every now and then you'll see a little bit of, like, you see what I mean? I think that's off of the rag that I used. Once I hand sand that, that'll go away. So I'm not worried about that. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to keep laying it on. The only area that I can see was, I wasn't real careful about the very bottom of the bumper. So if you look right there, you can kind of see a little bit of bodywork there. But besides that, like the rest of it here, it looks pretty good. And once I hand sand, it's going to look even better. So yeah, looks nice and smooth. All these scratches and stuff that were over here have since disappeared. Looking pretty good. Those slats, because I use a Dremel tool, if you get up really close to them, you can kind of see from me, but the paint's gonna stick. That's what I was worried about, because the primer that was already on this was flaking off, especially in those holes. So I wanted to make sure that I got that at least rough so that the paint would stick. So plenty of primer in there. We're gonna sand some of that off and it's gonna be good. And the paint's gonna stick, especially for here. All that rust, there's some areas there. If I get real close, if I can get it to focus. Okay, there's a little bit of etching in some areas, but really it wasn't that bad. So it turned out pretty good. And there's a couple areas there where, you could see some stuff, but once we sand it down, that's going to be a little less visible. Once we get paint on it, it's really going to be less visible. And then the trim goes on top of that. So anything in this area, you're not going to see. So yeah, that's all I'm getting done. This was 2 days worth of work. That's ridiculous. I need to get more efficient. Maybe I should drink a little bit more. What's driving me at this point is I really, really want to get this truck done so that I can sell it. I know some of you want me to keep it. It's just not feasible. I have 5 cars on my car insurance right now. This is going to be a 6th one. And I am going to put it on my insurance. I will drive it a little bit. I'm not driving it very far, and I'm not driving it long distances. Ultimately, I would like to take it to Carlisle. If I could get it done before fall Carlisle, that's where it's going. My buddy took his there, sold it, lickety split. He sold it actually before he even went in the gate. He sold it. He was at the gate to go in. A guy came up to him, seen how much he wanted for it. He sold it for $20,000. That's probably what I'm going to ask for this. But his was a 4-wheel drive. It was lifted, and it was professionally done. Mine, not professionally done, but that was a deal for his. For mine, I think this is worth that much if I do it right. But if I don't, I'll get what I can get out of it. Because ultimately, I don't think I have a lot in it. And I need a really clean, look at that, I just wiped this spot of the hood here. I have all this painted. This thing's gonna need a super clean once it's freaking done. It's crazy. I think I need to get another beer. Anyways, 3 thick coats of primer is gonna give you plenty of room to sand and smooth out imperfections and stuff. So that's why I did that. Highly surprised, this self-etching primer, I still have some left in this can. I'd say a quarter of this can is still left, and I painted that whole bumper, this whole piece, and any bare spots on this piece. So this stuff that Harbor Freight's carrying now, they used to, I'll show you the others. They used to carry a different kind. They just started carrying this instead. Honestly, I don't think Rust-Oleum's like top brand stuff, okay? Especially when it comes to painting a car. I would, okay. I would use the 2X Rust-Oleum to paint a car because it covers really well. But this is what Harbor Freight used to carry, and I use this all the time. And I like this stuff. But it doesn't cover as good as that Rust-Oleum stuff does. That stuff actually works really good. Now, I don't know how good it grips the metal. And honestly, I don't know how good this stuff does either. But I've been using this since I started my channel, and I still have some left. I haven't had any problems with anything flaking. Now, I haven't kept anything long term. I think this Rust-Oleum stuff will be good if it grips the metal as good as it sprays on there. I hope it does. I don't know if you guys have any experience with it. How do you feel about this stuff if you used it before? I like the coverage. It's good. It's like a, it looks like that's gray, but it's like an army green, almost like a flat green. Kind of cool color actually, like an olive drab kind of. Yeah, this truck would look cool like that, but they also made military trucks exactly like that color. So I don't really want to go that route. Part of me just wants to paint this thing and just sell it with the fuel injection kit not on it. The other part of me is like, I want to put the fuel injection kit on. So I just hope I don't have any problems. I think I am going to put the kit on, but it's just like I hope I don't have any issues, because I don't want to have to go back to the carburetor again, because I got a block off plate for the fuel pump. So I'm doing away with that. I got to make modifications to the fuel lines and stuff to fit the new pump on and the new filter and stuff like that. And I was just like, I hope that it works good, because all the videos I've watched of people doing it, it worked. So, I mean, if they can do it, I can do it, right? I'm not a professional, kids. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. I'm just a guy that started working on cars in his garage after he bought a couple from Copart. I am no means, this is not my profession. This is not what I do for a living. I mean, it's what I do for YouTube, but YouTube doesn't pay me a living wage. Anyways, next video, if you guys care, I need to really clean the RCF. I need to ceramic coat it. I want to do that before we go to this concert in York next weekend. So I'm going to be cleaning that. I also got clay pads, synthetic clay bars, clay pads. Honestly, I like these better than clay bars, synthetic pads. Try them once. They're a lot easier. We'll be doing that. I'll be armor shielding that, which is what I just tried to strip off of that because it's getting wrapped. And then another thing, like, I made a big purchase, kids. The whole driveway, this whole driveway is gonna be covered by a carport. I was just like, these cars, it's just not, I can't leave them out in the weather all the time. Oh, here's the neighborhood gray cat. Let's go get him. I wanna go pet him. Come here, I'm talking to you. Come here. From me. Oh, here he comes. He's actually a really nice cat. Hi, kitty. I actually held Stewie up to him earlier today and they sniffed each other. Oh, yeah? What? Yeah, it's just not feasible having these things out in the weather all the time. Yeah, I covered them for winter, but out in the rain and everything. So I got a 20 by 40. There's another stray. They must be friends. I got a 20 by 40. Now it's 20 feet from the wall to almost the house. So it's gonna cover the whole driveway and it's gonna come back. I can't put it right up against my house or right up against the garage because I have that little awning there. So I think I'm gonna start it right at the end of that. So there's gonna be a little gap between them. So it's 40 feet from the garage to right here. So it's actually gonna come out to about the end of the spouting there or something like that. Yeah, but it'll keep these things out of the weather, and then it'll keep the paint better. And this one I don't really care about. I mean, I do, I like it, but I don't. Honestly, I could sell that tomorrow and not care, but these two need to stay nice. So if you like this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if your mom was hoping I would keep this so we could test out the bench seat. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Alright.
What are we doing out here, sir? You're just trying to help me eat a brownie a little bit ago, weren't you? Hi, Stella. How are you doing? Purring today. How do you squeeze that big body in there? Sorry, I woke you up.
If it fits, it sits. No, don't touch that.
I wanted to see it.
Nope.
Stewie, he won't let me touch his paws. Can I touch your paws? Let me see one. Come on.
Oh, I know, he's frustrated.
You huffed at me?
He's frustrated at you. He's trying to sleep.
He's so sleepy.